Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of World's Best Business Coach. As you know, I get to travel the world. Well, I don't travel that much. I use Zoom, so I get to technologically travel the world and meet all of the greatest business coaches in the world. And this week we travel to the southernmost part of New Zealand. Andrew Johnston, welcome to the call today, and thanks for giving us your time.
Thanks, Brad. It's great to be here. Fantastic.
You know, when we travel to New Zealand, it's a wonderful part of the world, but it's like you're at the very bottom of New Zealand, yet the business owners there seem to love what you do. Their testimonials rave, but you also work with people all over the world. So I want to find out a little bit more. How do you do it? Why do you do it? And all that. But if I can just start by finding out, how did you decide to become a coach? How did you fall into business coaching?
Well, Brad, I got very bored with being an engineer for 18 years. So I was in New Zealand and in Europe, and then I started businesses and bought businesses, and that's when I started using some of your stuff. And eventually someone said to me, man, you know a lot about this. You should come and teach others what you know. And so I kind of fell into ActionCOACH, and I haven't looked back since. It's been fantastic.
You know, it's a lot of fun coaching. There must have been some of the clients over the years. I mean, how many years you've been coaching for now? Is it 15 or 16 years?
Not quite. Yeah, almost.
Almost. Yeah. So in all that time, there must be one or two clients that stand out and you go, these were the real fun ones, or these were some that I had a lot of fun helping and learning to grow with.
Oh yeah, look, I've had tons of those types of clients, and there's one guy, I still work with him. It's 11 years now, and it's been so much fun watching his family, his kids grow up, and he owns a supermarket, and we've doubled the revenue of the business and the profitability by about 5 times. But the cool thing has been involved with his family as well, and getting to know his kids, and his kids now are 20 and 21, and they've become good friends of mine as well. So it's really a neat thing,
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. One of the things I love about clients that are around that long is you get to see their kids start businesses as well. And it's like, in fact, one of your clients talked about the fact that their kids are now business people because of you. Tell me more about how that happens.
Well, what has happened in several occasions, and that one as well, is that the business owner would phone me before a coaching session and say, look, next session, could you meet with Adam and talk to him? He's got a business venture he'd like to talk to. So he used the coaching session to get me to talk to his son and get him on the right path. And I've had it's kind of a tangential experience, but it's had some fantastic results with that as well, because they when they're so young, they're so eager and they soak everything up, and they, imagine getting off to a fantastic start like that with great coaching from a business coach. It's awesome.
Yeah, now actually it brings up an interesting point. Some of your clients, they all love you, but some of them say, he's super tough. Like there's times where they're like, I think you've kicked their backside pretty hard and made them do stuff. But tell me more about how those, or is there one particular client you remember doing that with?
Well, I have a bit of a saying that the more I kick their butt, the more they love me, because most people don't do what they need to do to achieve what they really want to achieve. And that's why I'm there, is because, I see the potential in people. I see a lot of people are sitting on a box of dynamite ready to go, but they don't light the fuse. And so it's tough sometimes for me to push them real hard to kick their butt, but I do it for their good. And that the results from that are just phenomenal. They thank me later. Let's just put it that way.
I know at the time most of them don't thank us as coaches. Now, when you think about coaching, what are some of the most favourite areas you like coaching in? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it leadership? What are your favourite areas?
A couple of my favourite areas are, I love the sales, conversion, teaching business owners how to convert, because it's very, it can be a very fast implementation and very easy to teach. And a little tweak can make a big difference in a conversion, because most business owners actually have a lot of inquiries coming in, but they don't convert them very well. And so I love doing that. And of course, and you know this as well, because I've talked to a lot of other coaches on webinars about this, I love finding the extra profitability in a business.
Right.
And so I'm really hot on that, and I'm really hot on teaching other coaches how to do that as well.
Now, look, let's go back to conversion rate. What are some of the top 2 or 3 things that the business owners watching us here today can implement in their business to get better conversion rates?
Oh, man. Look, the first thing is to work out, when you get an inquiry, and it's normally by email, phone, or walk-in, what is the next step, and how quickly do you, A, respond to the inquiry, and secondly, how quick do you get back to them? Because normally, in a lot of businesses, the sale's not made on the first inquiry, but that response time is crucial. And people nowadays are expecting, instantaneous response on everything, and it's no different with sales. And if someone could outmaneuver you, a competitor could outmaneuver you by being quicker on response time. So that's all part of, a sales system with steps in it, is looking at the response times on each one and making sure that they're all as quick as they need to be and happening consistently. And that, I find that makes a huge difference. Probably a good example of that is any trades-based business. They take the inquiry and then they get busy, and it's like a week before they get back, and they can lose the sales. So easy.
And another thing your clients mention is you make them measure their results a heck of a lot in sales, in particular, marketing and sales. Give us more of an understanding as to A, why do you do it, but B, how do you get them doing it so they get real results from it?
Well, there's an old adage, and I've heard it from you several times, that what you measure will increase. So what you measure, you can manage. And I find as soon as they start measuring it, because their mind is now set on it, the numbers will start increasing. So that's one reason to do it. The other reason is that it gives you some goals. Like if your conversion rate was 1 out of 5, say 20%, then we can say, okay, let's aim for 2 out of 5. That would be the first step. And let's aim for 3 out of 5. So I like to get conversion rate around the 80%. And so, when you go from 1 out of 5 to 2 out of 5, you're effectively doubling the business, because you're getting double the amount of sales in from the inquiries. So it's very, very powerful.
Yeah. Look, I find that's a phenomenal thing, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons you get great results with the client. Most of them don't like measuring, though. How do you convince them that they need to, or even get them to try it the first time?
Look, I've hardly found a business owner that wants to measure stuff. They just want to get on and do the business. But I have some big conversations with them around, where they want to go with the business, and what are the things that need improved, and how can we improve them if we don't know a starting point and we're not monitoring it along. And it's, I don't know if I can give you the specifics of those sort of conversations, but it really is just talking through the importance of it and convincing them that, look, you've got to do that. You've got to watch numbers, and you've got to be focused on increasing your numbers. It's no different from trying to lose weight or training for a marathon. You've got to watch, how many minutes you're doing and how many training sessions you're doing, and track it all to get the good result at the other end.
Yeah.
So I think it's.
Now, one of the other things you're big on with your clients is education, getting them to keep learning and keep growing. Coaching, I guess part of coaching is education, but helping them learn seems to be a high priority for you. Explain to me why you do that and how that impacts the results you get.
Oh, look, I'm a true believer that there's no end point to how much we can learn, and that even the amount of time I've been in business and then been in my action coach business, I still feel that curve's quite steep. I feel there's a lot I can learn in a lot of areas. And I pass that to clients. A lot of clients don't want to learn in terms of reading a book, or, they don't want to invest that time. But I work with every business owner to try and get them to start reading, even just reading a chapter of a book. We table contents and we pick a chapter that's relevant to something that we're doing and get them started. And when they get started, it's quite interesting how their goals will change and where they want to go will change, because now they realize with some education behind them, they can really go bigger and go better and go harder, and they ask better questions, of course. It's fantastic.
Yeah, look, it's phenomenal how business owners, I think I always used to say it, you grow to your level of incompetence. It's like if you don't know what you're doing, you can't grow it any further than that. And that's a big challenge with a lot of business owners. I guess one of the other things, though, Andrew, that your clients say, I can't put it into words other than it's like you're their best cheerleader. It's like you believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And that seems to have a big impact. Tell me more about how that happens and is that something you stumbled across, or is it just something you've always done?
People have called me a motivator or an enthusiast, and I think that ties in with the cheerleading. And I think it's important because as adults, we don't get a whole lot of encouragement from, sometimes from our spouses, sometimes from our peers, sometimes from our brother-in-law. In fact, it can be actually negative, especially if they're not in business and they don't understand, then they don't get it. And so I honestly do see the potential in my clients, and when they have a win, we celebrate. We go, it's like I really pat them on the back, because I think being in business is fantastic. I couldn't work for anybody else now. I'm psychologically unemployable, but it's also can be hard. And so I think I know the importance of encouraging their clients to keep going and keep learning and keep going for personal bests in their business.
Yeah, business is often a really lonely thing. I mean, that's why, even for us at Action Coach, it's why we get all our clients together all the time. It's why we build community amongst business owners and stuff. And not only business owners, for you as a coach, the level of community that you get to be a part of. And I think that's phenomenal. But actually, let me just touch on that just for a little bit more. When you see clients come together, because I think this is really important for business owners to get community, when you see them come together, what do you see happening? Because I know what I see happening. I'd love to see if it's the same in New Zealand as it is here in Vegas.
Oh, look, 1 + 1 = 11, I think. The business excellence forums that we do nowadays, you started those a few years ago in Australia, I think was the first place. You just see the buzz, you see it come alive with energy of they learn from the other coaches, they learn from the speakers, but they learn from each other and make friends. I've seen people coming back to the ones in Australia 4 or 5 years later, and they're friends with those business owners that they'd met 4 or 5 years ago. And you're right about the loneliness thing. There is sort of a second tier to it as well, because there's not a lot of business owners out there who are really proactively looking to grow their business. They just settle for status quo. So when you get those guys that we coach in the room together, you've got a whole lot of people who are with the same mindset in this amazing community with all these amazing clients and other clients and amazing coaches.
Yeah. I spoke to one, was it just yesterday? And he came back from one of those conferences, and he said, my staff didn't recognize me. They were like, and he was a medical doctor. He said, my staff didn't recognize me. Some of them have been with me more than 20 years, and they come back all bouncing off the walls and excited. And they're all like, hang on, what did they give you out there? It's amazing how when someone sees it, Andrew, they just get, wow, this could actually work for me. Because a lot of business owners have tried a bunch of different things and a bunch of different aspects. But, how do we explain to someone that there's 20 plus years of business coaching knowledge in our organization in 1,000 different offices in 59, just opened 60th country? It's pretty hard to explain that. How do you express that to people? Because I'd love to get your perspective on it.
Well, that's part of why I love being an action coach, rather than, I couldn't imagine doing this by myself. I couldn't imagine being in any other organization, because the community is so powerful. We can reach out to coaches, and we even have a coach in Lebanon. That was the first one I thought of, but we could reach out to the coach in Lebanon and say, hey, have you ever coached this business and with this challenge? And so we, within a few hours, we can have a lot of input from other coaches that really help us. And I express that to business owners when I first meet them. I say, when you work with me as an action coach, you don't just get me. You get, 1,000 other coaches from around the world and the input. And it's kind of hard to explain the abundance. And, you and I know the abundance in our organisation, that I could email any coach in our organisation and say, could I have a 30-minute Skype call with you to talk about this? And he would give me a bunch of ideas and respond quickly, and it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I'm super proud, Andrew, when I see the team of coaches nowadays that run Action Coach and the way they do things. I'm amazingly impressed. When you go back, and let's even think back just a little bit, think of a business owner thinking about hiring a coach. Most of them are a little bit, I don't know, I mean, I'm not scared, it's a little bit apprehensive or think, geez, this is expensive or stuff like that. How do you get someone to understand the value or the power of coaching?
You're right. Most people I've talked to are apprehensive and nervous about it, and are nervous about the investment. And I use the tools that we have, show them the chassis we have for business profit, and I show them the systems we have. And I think they get the fact that it's a big organisation. We've done this for a long time. We know what we're doing. We're number one in the world for the last, whatever it is, 22 years, whatever. And I think they understand. We've got the guarantee as well. So if there's there's that takes away a lot of doubts as well. But I've never had a client say, oh, that was a waste of time or a waste of money or anything. They always say, man, I wish I'd done this earlier. That's the key phrase I get. I wish I'd done this earlier.
I remember, I distinctly remember meeting a guy who I'd talked to maybe 5 or 6 years earlier. He was a painter, and he knew one of his competitors who took us on as a coach, and he's like, I just have to. This guy started, he used to work for me. He's now got 20 guys working for him. I'm by myself still. And it's like, if only we could get through to them. Dude, please, just for your own sake, I've never met a client yet that didn't win bigger out of coaching than the coach won out of it. So that's the important thing. Let's flip that over just for a second, because some of the people watching this interview will be also contemplating becoming a business coach, not just an action coach, but a business coach in general. What's your advice to people wanting to be a coach? Because it's not for everyone. You've got to love helping people for starters. Yeah. What else do you see for someone who wants to be a coach? How will they be successful?
So I've seen a lot of coaches come into our organisation, and I probably know most of them, and most of the 1,000 that are in our organisation. And the common things I see yes, you're right, they absolutely want to help people, but they want to learn and grow themselves. So they want to become better at everything themselves. And we see it a lot, in our all our social media and stuff we have within Action Coach. We see it with the running marathons and all that sort of stuff. People are always wanting to do better, not better than the next person, just personal best, personal best, personal best. And I think that's that is part of what I don't think the background, whether you were an engineer like me or an accountant or whatever it was, I don't think that's as important as that whole attitude of wanting to learn, wanting to help people, wanting to grow, and embrace it and take it on. I think is the biggest. Yeah, I just want to say too, Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say. I was just going to say. We got school teachers, nurses, CEOs of Fortune 500. We got everyone that's a coach, and I think you're right. It's that desire in there is more important than the physical skill. I remember I was at a seminar with you, and you said on stage, you said, heck, we've even got engineers as business coaches. And I was like, I'd only been in about a year, and I thought, whoa. It turns out engineers are very we can get engineers to be successful. It's the thing. Look, ultimately, Andrew, when I look at the testimonials from your clients, it's several things come through. Number one, you care about them massively. Number two, you help them get results or push them to get results, as some of them say. But number three, I think it's your dedication to growing your business and their business that keeps it growing. So I just want to say congratulations on all the results you've gotten. Your clients love you. We're very proud to have you as part of the team. And I just want to say thanks for your time again today. It's been really valuable for me.
It's my pleasure, Brad. Thank you. Cheers.